This is Spirit Journey, and today is Sunday, November 15th, 2015, and it is about 6:20 p.m. And I'm sitting down looking outside my window, and I have a beautiful view facing north, looking at the Manhattan skyline. This video is actually a part of my audio diary that I actually started earlier this year. As a premise of what I want to talk about, I had watched a video on YouTube, and the video was about what are the possible signs of when someone starts to become spiritually awakened. And the individual said that sometimes people start to lose time, and that you can actually start to get unexplained aches and pains in your body. You've gone to the doctors and the doctor says there's nothing wrong. That caught my attention. And why it caught my attention is because I noticed that my memory is not as sharp anymore, especially when it comes to recent time, like something, a week ago, a year ago even. And I find it hard to retrieve details about certain events. And in my mind, a couple of years back, it was considered a very sharp mind. I was able to remember a lot of things from my past, but I noticed that it's more marked in my life. Also, I get unexplained aches and pains, like activity that I would do now bothers me, like walking. I had walked maybe, it was about 5 miles, 2 miles there and back. And when I got home, my joints and the inseam of my legs were very, very stiff. Now, I love to walk. And maybe, I don't often walk 5 miles, but I walk all the time. But I find that physical activity, seems to be more effort involved. My flexibility is diminishing very, very, accelerated. And I'm considered a very flexible person. So my inability to do certain things physically, it's something that I notice. And sometimes I get tired for no real reason. And again, I have been to the doctors, and the doctors say I'm unhealthy. So that's why when I heard that video about what could happen when you're spiritually awakened or awakening, it caught my attention. So that is the premise of what I want to talk to next. Earlier this month, on the 9th, I was walking in the street and these thoughts came to my mind. One thing that came to my mind is about what they call time, and that time is an illusion. And I noticed that with time, that I'm actually preoccupied with time. I love to know what time it is. It makes me feel grounded in this 3D world, okay? So where does that fit in with someone who is awakening? Well, if time really is an illusion, according to some people might call them New Age or metaphysics, that it's an illusion. But maybe what's happening is that I'm losing memory because my spirit being is saying it doesn't fit in your life. The more aware, the more the illusion of time diminishes. For example, I was thinking that maybe this particular event was really a message to me to reinforce that time is an illusion. About maybe a month and a half ago, I had a beautiful watch. And I bought the watch 2012, and it was an expensive watch. I actually bought 2 watches. And the watch broke. I sent the watch to be repaired by the manufacturer. And the manufacturer no longer carries parts for this watch, and they discontinued making this watch. Now that's only 3 years ago, okay? So I just took it as a loss. And I bought these 2 other very inexpensive watches. And, I did have this second watch that I bought also in 2012. And I went to put the watch on, and then I see that one isn't working. Like the second hand is like quivering. So I brought it to a jeweler, and the jeweler took one look at it and said, "Oh, you have I think she used a mechanism problem, like the gears inside. It's not working properly." And so I asked them, "Okay, yes, I noticed that it's quivering the second hand. Approximately how much would it cost to get it repaired?" Well, to get the watch repaired at that place would be over $100. And I said to myself that I didn't want to go through it. And I was disappointed. But look at this, 2 watches. And I kept the watches in very good condition. The watches stayed in its little box that it came in. I never dropped the watch. And here are these problems. So I started thinking, okay, so what does this mean with regard to time is an illusion? So I started thinking to myself, well, I had these 2 fancy watches, and they were expensive. They were like a gift to myself for my graduating that year. And here, in 3 years' time, the watches are obsolete. And I started thinking again that, hey, the universe may not want me to have those watches, and trying to say, to me, hey, you're so preoccupied with time, It's always good to get to your appointments on time or early. I'm all about that. But I'm preoccupied. I love time. I always love to know what time it is. Even when I give my videos, when I do my videos, I always give the date and or time, just as a marker for me. That's why I do it. It helps me feel grounded and have and associate, a link, So that was the first part of my thoughts. And then my second thought was about, okay, the second thing with my losing not losing, but the 2 watches that are no longer working. On top of that, I had this earring, and one of them fell off. And I had this earring for a long time. I got the earring, in 1987. And I loved the earring. Simple, was inexpensive, but it had sentimental value because I got it when I was in the military and in Spain. I really liked Spain. So when I look at the earring, I always think about Spain. And now, one of the earrings are missing, it fell off. And I felt that, maybe, and also on top of it, I think for the past 2 months, started buying a lot of things, just buying this, buying that, and it took over my savings. 1 minute I had, and then the next minute, it's my bank account's almost empty. And I didn't even realize it until I really started looking closely at my account. Say, hey, I have to knock it off. I have to be more aware. It's like I was getting anxious and I started dealing with this anxiety or apprehension through buying stuff. And I see that buying stuff could be an addiction. Some of the things I needed, but many of the things I didn't need, I could have gone without it. But I just felt a compulsion and this energy that needed to be expressed some way, and I dealt with it by buying stuff. So, in part of this awakening, that I can't be so preoccupied with things, and that you can lose things. You can lose sentimental things. And you ask yourself, well, what does it mean now? I had this for many, many years, and now I don't have it. Who am I? Some people define themselves based on the things they have. What if you lose everything overnight? What if you have, let's say, a natural disaster and you lose everything? So what will you stand on? Okay, so this is reminding me that I need to slow down. I was hurrying and stressing myself out in taking all these material goods. And I need to just relax. And that if you get something, you can lose it. It could be, as again I say, natural disaster, you can get ripped off, etc. So that was another thing I learned. And then the other thought I was thinking about on the 9th was this. What happens, like, I was told that this world may actually be a parallel universe, which means that what's happening here on planet Earth, there may be a replica of this world or this you, who you call you, somewhere else, living a different life than what you're living now. And then I started thinking about, I guess because my memory, I was thinking about people who have Alzheimer's disease, okay? And I asked myself, okay, that if your consciousness is always in existence, is always aware, but again, you have your hardware, which is your body and your brain. Your brain is a receptor. But your consciousness, your memory is not stored in your brain. So if that is the case, and someone is suffering from Alzheimer's disease, where does their memory go? I started thinking, does their memory go to this parallel universe? And that blew my mind. And that maybe these people with Alzheimer's disease, that it's just their body, their frequency shifting to another dimension in preparation to the other parallel universe. And you know what else? Maybe, I know this sounds wild, but it's just coming to me now as I'm talking. Maybe it's their consciousness is being projected to when they get where they get their assignment. I was told that when people come to Earth as people, that they make a contract agreement of the life they're going to live. Well, maybe this part of them on Earth, when they start to get of age, is maybe discussing about the next assignment. Because I have a feeling, if it's such thing, that the people who are overseeing our bodies, our consciousness, our bodies, etc., that they could see us, they can monitor us. You know, just like with scientists on Earth, they monitor these animals. They put little chips in their bodies, and they can monitor them even if they fly far, far away. So, if you have these superior beings watching over us, and if we actually really did have a contract with them, they would know when our bodies start to wear and tear, okay? If they've been making us, you know, and put us on this planet way back, they would know the proximity of our life, our lifestyle, what's wearing out. And maybe even when we sleep, maybe this consciousness also goes to the same place, and you give them updates. That's what I'm starting to think now. I know it sounds very wild, but how could we explain it? There's no real explanation of why people's memories start to go. If your brain is not where your memory is, it has to go somewhere. Nothing is either lost or destroyed, so it has to be floating somewhere. So that's what I want to talk about. I know it sounds very odd, but these are thoughts, and one thought could lead to another thought. I'd like to share these thoughts with you, and I'd like if you could give me your thoughts on this audio diary, this information that I'm giving, and please feel free to share this video with your friends or family. You could subscribe to Spirit Journeys channel, and once again, to give me the thumbs up. Bye-bye, guys.